with that, I'm going to turn it over to Monique and let her tell you about Crystal and all the new things that are going on.
Wonderful. Any of you guys been on Crystal before? Easy there. Easy. Wonderful. Crystal started 27 years ago, and it was a 2-ship ocean cruise going company. We like to call ourselves a six-star line. I know everybody does. Every time you come to one of these presentations, we're up here saying, we're the 6-star, we're the best. Let me tell you why we're the best. Over the last few years, though, we have grown. And what I mean by that is we have expanded in the experiences that we offer you. We've gone in. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, I normally don't sound like a man, but I've got some allergies going on with the weather change, so I usually have a higher voice. We've expanded into a river. We have a yacht that sails. We'll be adding her sister ship starting in 2019. We'll be going into the expedition market. And we'll have new ocean ships starting in 2022. What I'm going to do here, because you see some airplanes, we're setting up ourselves to be this luxurious portfolio of experiences that if you know you love this one experience with us, you have the abilities of traveling in different modes of travel and still have that Crystal touch, the Crystal service, the Crystal food. We're the most awarded cruise line in the industry, especially in the luxury class. We just got Condé Nast 24th year. We just got that announcement this week for Best Luxury Cruise Line. Travel and Leisure magazine for 2017 rated our yacht as Best Small Ocean Going Ship. And we just got #1 River Cruise by Travel and Leisure for 2017 as well. Every brand out there, because I heard some other names thrown out, we're all good in our own right. And what our job is when we come in to educate you guys on what we sell, it's to really point out the differences of us without highlighting the differences of them, so that you all, ladies and gentlemen, can determine, is that the right fit for me? Okay? So I'm going to show you a real quick video, and I have one more video later on with the river, because I know River's like on fire. And I have to say, our river is the best, and it's not because they pay my mortgage. It really is the best. I was an agent for over 12 years. I grew up in this industry. My mom owned a travel agency. So we traveled a lot growing up, and over the years, both between business and vacations, over 90 cruises. And I never say that to say, ooh, look at me, I did all these cruises. But when you do that many brands, you do that many experiences over the years, it gives you a baseline to make comparisons to. And I had the pleasure of going on our Mozart in April of this year, actually end of March into April, and they actually had to pry me off the boat, okay? I did not want to leave. So I do have a little video of the Mozart specifically. We do have our new Rhine class that just went into the water this summer, and we'll have 2 more going in for next spring. But without further ado, so you guys can get onto your other stuff later. On here because I want to say something. It says call this number, call your travel professional. I mentioned I was a travel agent for over 12 years. Full service, did everything from soup to nuts. And now I've been working for the vendors for over 9 years now. There's not a single reason, watch me look deep into my eyes. There is not a single reason to book Crystal Direct, to go to my company and book Crystal Direct. You should be using a travel agent. And I will tell you why, because we do have some specials that I'll highlight at the end of the presentation. However, when you call my group department, my reservations department, we're going to give you the early booking discounts. If you're a past guest, we'll give you the Crystal Society discount. If you're doing a back-to-back, we'll give you that discount. If you're paying in full outside of 180 days, we'll give you that 2.5% discount. Wallace Pearson's going to give you the same thing. Crystal Clear Choices, I'm going to highlight. However, we in the field, I'm a sales rep, I work with different individual accounts across my territory, and we offer select exclusive specials to specific agencies, and Wallace Pearson is a preferred partner of ours. On top of that, Wallace Pearson, you heard Angie mention about Virtuoso. Virtuoso is a consortium, it's an industry association, and we work very heavily with them because they do specialize in luxury travel. With that said, they also get additional promotions and offers and specials and savings that is not available to the general public. If you call my reservations department and you call Wallace Pearson, they're going to have maybe an additional shipboard credit available because they are with Virtuoso. Maybe they're going to get some additional dollars off because they have a special with me. My direct department, they're not going to give that to you. They're going to give you the typical promotions that are in the marketplace. I can't speak for every other cruise line or tour company out there because everybody works their business very differently, but I can say that there's not a single reason to go ahead and book direct with Crystal, my brand, okay? So you saw that phone number there. Do what you want with it, but again, the proof is in the pudding. Make a comparison, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Okay, that's my soapbox, okay? Because I do strongly believe in it. Again, I've worked both sides of the business, so I know how both sides of the business work. And I just know how it ends up working out for savings for you guys. So let's go ahead and start with the Crystal Symphony and the Serenity. These are the two ships that really brought us to where we are after 27 years. This is before all the crazy growth has happened. And with that said, what makes Crystal unique, again, having been in the luxury realm for 27 years, is the inclusivity. Now, when we get to the river and the yacht, we are completely inclusive with river and yacht. From soup to nuts, you got your transfers, your excursions, and everything else that I'm going to talk about on the ocean included. The ocean, we went many years ago to having all of your beverages included, and you've got your fine wines, your spirits, top shelf spirits, you have your champagnes. We have added our unlimited Wi-Fi. It comes out October 21st. Both of the ocean ships will have their unlimited Wi-Fi. Complimentary 24-hour room service. I mentioned those special savings, early booking discounts, back-to-back discounts, Crystal Society. Come back over from the dark side, whoever you're sailing on now, become Crystal Society members and you get additional savings. You rebook on board, you get additional savings for that as well. Our rooms, our accommodations. First of all, in the luxury realm, we have some of the largest luxury ships, meaning that if you're sailing on some of the other brands, they may be 300, 600 people, right? And there's definitely a great thing when you're sailing with not a lot of people. Who wants to sail on ships that have 5,000 people anymore? I'm a little past that after all my cruises, and I think everybody kind of graduates past that unless they're going with families and things like that. However, when you look at our ships and the size that they are, 848 passengers on the Symphony, you have 980 coming on the Serenity, because we're going to talk about our evolution. We're adding more suites, reducing capacity, doing some special stuff on board. It gives you more space. We have the highest space ratio in the industry per passenger per space on board. In addition, at night, we have a full-size show lounge, right? You get your main theater shows, just like you're used to seeing on the big ships, so to speak. Plus, we have multiple lounges and other common areas, public areas around the ship that in the evening, you can go and listen to an acoustic guitar, you can go listen to a piano player. We had two twin gentlemen on board from New York City on the last voyage that I was on the Serenity, and they did everything from Italian opera to Broadway tunes. You go down to the atrium, we have our huge Crystal Orchestra. We've added an electric guitar, an extra saxophone. We have a lovely lady, and she can sing everything from Judy Garland to Whitney Houston to Adele, all across the masses that we offer that. Now, with the staterooms, we have nothing but ocean view, verandas, and of course you get into the suites that have butlers. When we get to our river and our yacht, it's not going to matter what category you're booking on those because you get a butler regardless, right? And I mentioned it's all inclusive, kind of a nice little extra feature. So you'll have those choices. You see some of the images here. The rooms start at well over 200 square feet, and that's in a minimum category, so take that a note. Food. I'm a total foodaholic. I love food more than anything in the world. It's just a fact of the matter. My father used to say he'd rather clothe me than feed me because he would just say, I don't know where you put it all. I just like to eat. So, of course, we're going to have those typical venues on board. You're going to have your breakfast and lunch choices, multiple choices. It's no different than any other cruise line in that regard. As far as the choices, buffets for breakfast and lunch. You can go to the main dining room. You can order your room service. If you got a butler, he can bring that into your suite for you. Evening, you have your bistro, you have multiple dining options, which I'm going to go in a little bit more detail about because we're actually adding a couple new concepts to the ships. And then, as I mentioned, going to the open dining. Right now, we've always had the traditional early and late dining with dine by reservation as well, which is more of like an open style dining you put in for your reservation. Symphony will have open dining starting on October 21st, and Serenity will have open dining starting next year, next fall actually. Activities. You know when you get on the other cruises and you see that guide and you have all these little asterisks next to everything on the daily activities and it says additional fee possible and you have to keep paying out on your card for different things. Doesn't happen with Crystal. From everything to, we have our ambassador hosts, the ladies that travel by themselves or the gentlemen who just don't want to dance or should not be dancing. You gentlemen know who you are. Don't need to raise any hands, but we know you're out there. The ambassador hosts save all of us from having to watch that happen on the dance floor. You try to make the wives happy, you break her toe, it's never a pretty sight. So we have the ambassador hosts. We have the vision enrichment lectures. People that we bring on our themed cruises year-round, both on our ocean, our river, as well as our yachts. We partner with Jean-Michel Cousteau, Jacques Cousteau's son. We have Nancy Brinker, who's going to be on one of our April 7th sailings on the Muller for next year on the river. She's the co-founder of Susan B. Coleman, also a past ambassador of Hungary. So what we're doing is we put the most experienced people on these voyages to be the lecturers for those types of themed cruises. We do wine and food festivals. We have Crystal Broadway at Sea. We partner with Kevin McCollum. He's a Broadway producer and he brings people on. They do intimate lectures and classes. They have special performances on board. We've got golf cruises. We have yoga, wellness, health and fitness cruises. There's a whole host. And in the brochures and on our site, it will denote what kind of themed event it is. And anytime you see that it's a themed cruise, you're going to have various other activities throughout the day and the daily programs that's going to be included and special for that particular voyage. Universities at sea. Don't know how to use your iPad, don't know how to Twitter, tweet, stomp, and do a rotation? We will teach you. It's all included. The Learning Institutes. You want to learn how to play the piano, learn how to watercolor or use oil paints. All of that's included. There's so many activities on our ship during the day, and again, that also is partially lended to the size of the vessel. You can still be luxury and be a little bit of the larger size. You add that extra space, then you have more things to do during the day, especially those sea days. When you're a guest on Crystal, our past society guests, they love the sea days because it's chocked with a whole bunch of activities for them to customize their experience. Golf pros, PGA golf pros, work on your swing, bridge instructors. And no, the spa is not included, but we do have a feng shui spa that you will absolutely love, and I just like to say feng shui. Re-imaging on the ocean ships. I mentioned we're reducing. Crystal tends to sell from the top down, the bottom up. People buying because they want to do extra cruises that year or they want to sample. If you haven't been on Crystal, like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. They'll start at the bottom. When they come back, they buy the suites. Our suites sell out all the time. And we found that if we had space available on a voyage, it was the stuff that was in between. So we've removed a section of our standard verandas and we're adding more suites, reducing the capacity on the ship. And once we add those additional dining venues, it disperses the guests in the evening that now we can handle an open dining format and do it effectively. Because again, when you're the brand that has gotten all the awards for the food and the service, you sure the heck don't want it to go to, out the door because you're trying to do something that you're not ready to do in the format that you have. Serenity will go in October of next year. We can't take both of our ships out of dry dock at the same time. So if some of the things that you're about to hear you like, It's going to be the Symphony that's going to offer it for this coming year. Serenity will be available for some of these changes come November 10th of next year. Sea Breeze Suites are going to go in. This is one of the big things. And I'll say, if you guys are suite goers, or maybe you've done the PHs or the PSs on our ocean ships, you're like, oh, I want the new Sea Breeze. You want it because you think it's going to be brand new from the ground up. And it's true. It will be. However, one thing that we're doing with the Sea Breeze is it's kind of like a little beta test because the Serenity doesn't go until next year. There's the same square footage. You don't have to worry about square footage. Of the existing suites, these are going to have the same square footage. But the bathroom itself, we are now not going to have the separate bathtub and shower. We're just going to have an oversized shower with the luxury jets. And a part of the reason is a lot of guests didn't use the bathtubs. They couldn't get in, couldn't get out. And then you have the other ones that are doing the 30-day voyages that they have to have their bubble baths. So just so that you're aware, that's pretty much the biggest difference in these particular new suites that are going in. You're going to have an easier way of making connecting rooms. Crystal, unless you're doing the Crystal penthouses, we only do triples. If you want to travel with family, we do have multi-generational families that travel with us. But this is going to make it so that the doorways inch in from the hallway and the doors that are going to open from the front, those are going to be your connecting versus having that horrible door in the middle of your stateroom that you can, I live in hotels, guys. I hate when they put me in a connecting room because you can hear everything, and I mean everything going on in the room next to you when you have a connecting room. So, butler pass-through. You're sitting on the veranda, your husband needs his shirt pressed, you've sent it out from the butler to have it pressed. You don't want to be bothered in the middle of your cocktails watching the sunset on your veranda, right? Your butler pass-through. They put the shirt in the pass-through, they push the button, ring the doorbell, because we have doorbells, and the little light goes on. You never have to go to the front door and get whatever's being put through that butler pass-through. So those are some of the cool little tiny features, but we all know when you get to luxury, sometimes it's the little things that make it all the more special. It's not the things that you would think would be the most important, or even that you would want. This is the penthouse. This is going to be not the suite. This is a penthouse with veranda, so it's an oversized room. Just want to show you some images so that you can see the depth of the rooms themselves. You'll have your walk-in closets. This goes into the penthouse suite that has the separate partition bedroom that you can actually garner off so that you have the privacy in that bedroom. You have your separate sitting area, your separate bedroom, and your bathroom with the double sinks and the oversized shower. So that just gives you a little flavor of the ships, especially for those of you that maybe have done Crystal and you've seen some of these categories. It gives you the new decor, the new design, the flavor, the coloring. Food. I love food. So let's go back to the food. We have the waterside dining room, which is our main dining room that we have on board. And as I mentioned, that will go to open dining. Marketplace is our former Lido. They'll have the huge spreads for breakfast and lunch, from the egg stations to the prime rib that's carved at lunchtime, beautiful salad bars, pastas made to order. All of that will be available. At night, though, it's going to become a Brazilian steakhouse. So your guests, you guys, everybody, you're going to walk in. You're going to be greeted with gentlemen and gauchos serving you a pisco sour, beautiful spread of the salads and the sides, and then the gentleman walking in with the skewers of meat, and you could choose everything that you want, all included. Umi Uma. We partner with Nobumatsu Hisu, and we have his concept on our ships right now, which is called Silk Road. That concept will be renamed. It will become Umi Uma. Say it together. Umi Uma. You could do it better. Umi Uma. Doesn't it feel good? I say it, when I go and train them, I said the same thing. I said it makes you just feel yay. I don't know. Do you know anybody know what that means? It means Japanese, seahorse in Japanese. And our symbols are two little seahorses. So this concept will remain. The name has changed. It is still going to be the Peruvian Japanese concept with the sushi bar available to you as well. Silk. If you've been on our ships, you may know the Trident Grill, and you may know Taste. Taste is on the Serenity, Trident is on the Symphony. We're renaming both of those, and we're just going to call it Silk. And this is an Asian bistro, family style, Asian street food. And Prego is remaining unchanged. We're enhancing the menu. It's a high scale, high quality Italian restaurant. When you go, you have to get the mushroom soup. And I would say it comes in a bread bowl. But you want to do the 5 courses, you really do. So you just skip the bread bowl and they'll put it in a regular bowl for you. Not that I won't do carbs, but it will fill you up. So.
You also have to do the hot.
Oh, yes.
Did you have the duck breast? Did you have the duck breast? Okay, I'm just saying. And the ceviche over, well, Umiuma now is fabulous. So, you're going to have Brazilian, you're going to have Chinese, you're going to have Japanese, Peruvian, you're going to have the Italian there, and you're going to have, of course, the wide array of foods that you're going to have in the main dining room as well. Wi-Fi. Here's what's really important. Everything I'm talking about here is already implemented on our river and our ocean ships. We have open dining on the other experiences. I should say on the yacht. We have open experiences. We have unlimited Wi-Fi. We've got 42-inch flat screen televisions in all of the rooms. You can download, on-demand movies to your Apple devices and watch it up at the, sun deck or whatever. So you have all of that available. Our ocean ships are now coming in line with that. October 21st, we will have unlimited Wi-Fi installed with both of the ocean ships. And that will, again, will just carry over to our existing experiences. Once the ships go through their evolution, they will have the 42-inch flat screen TVs, because we know we all need a 42-inch flat screen TV. But here's what's important. When you get on a ship, and especially because if you do a longer voyage with us, and you only have the 4 news stations, and then the 1 station that shows everything on the ship, and then they have the one that shows the repeat TV reruns, and that's all you got. It gets bored after 30 some days, let's face it. And you may want to just lay in the cabin one day and just watch TV. Having the on-demand, you have everything from TV to movies to entertainment, things to pick, different music stations to listen to. So it really does enhance your in-room experience, so to speak. Crystal Symphony, because pretty much 17 is done. I got a little bit of space left on a couple of voyages in December, which we can talk about. But we do have the Symphony for 2018. Some of the destinations that we will be doing, you notice World Cruise, 114 days, right? We got 2 ocean ships and we're offering 4 world cruises next year. Anybody know how we do that? I'll give you a free cruise if you do. Not you people. Nope. Okay. What we do is we have the Symphony. She's going to start in Cape Town, South Africa, and she's going to finish in Fort Lauderdale. That's her cruise, the 414 days. Serenity is going to have a 112-day cruise, but she's going to start in Los Angeles and she's going to finish in Rome. So they're coming from different directions. They're going to intersect in Sydney, Australia, in the harbor. And you can then flip to the other ship and finish the second half of their world cruise. Ooh, I know. See, no one won a free cruise yet. Oh, well, didn't do the homework. What is neat, though, is we are offering the world cruises now also in segments. So a lot of times your world cruises are in the most unique destinations around the world, so they have the most unique itineraries. So those bucket list collectors, you've been everywhere, but you haven't been to that one place, we're now breaking them into segments as short as 11 days. And something else that we've found is by doing some of the shorter segments, it is allowing a lot more people to travel. Some people don't have the time to travel that long. Others don't want to be away that long because they've got family at home and things that they want to take care of and life that they have in their local communities. So just make a note of that if you are looking, we have a World Cruise brochure up there as well, that you could see what the segments are, and we'll be doing that. We'll have only 1 World Cruise in 2019. And of course the Panama Canal, the transatlantic. Serenity will be doing the bulk of her season next year in Europe. 19 will be adding a lot more 7-day voyages as well. Now what's interesting with that is we can do 7, 14, 21, 28. See the theme? It opens up an opportunity. I can't tell you how many times an agency will come to you and say, I've got a group that's going, but this section wants to go for this many days, but I've got these people that want to go with the group, but they don't want to go for that many days. So friends cannot always go with their friends because the voyages don't match. This gives a lot more flexibility. With Crystal, one of our pillars is that choice aspect, being able to make your choices on how you do your trips. Let's jump over to the yacht. She's our little hidden gem, I like to call her. She's a 62-passenger yacht, has an 8-foot draft. She truly is, she was somebody's private yacht, we'll put it that way. We took her down to the steel and rebuilt her from the ground up. I will note that she does not have verandas and she does not have an elevator. So, that is just put out there, our ocean ships. Yeah, it's a yacht, exactly. But you gotta say, because some yachts, I'm sure, do have elevators. Our river ships do have elevators as well, so that's not an issue. But 62 people, you can see some of the designs here. I'm gonna show you some of the larger shots. She had a sold out season in the Adriatic this year. She's now gonna be on her way into the Caribbean. So of course, unfortunately, with some of the hurricanes that have just decimated the area, the initial setup for our season from November to April was to have the sailings do 7-day alternating. 1 week in the BVIs, 1 week in the West Indies. Unfortunately, after finally getting in touch with all of our operators, the BVIs will not be operational this year. Marigot, which is where we will depart from St. Martin, they definitely have gotten themselves back up and running because that port itself is fundamental for bringing in supplies to the island in general. So we will be doing round trip 7-day West Indies itineraries from November to April. In May, she's going to be going back to the Adriatic. I'm going to show you some of the itineraries that we have for that. Before we do that, the Cove, you're not going to have big shows on board. We'll have before dinner music, whether it's a piano player or a duet, you know, playing and singing, whatever the case may be. Yacht club for the dining, large windows. My favorite is the patio. This is going to be where you can do your breakfast and lunch spreads during the day, sitting out and looking out. We have a beautiful grill on board that does fresh burgers and wraps and fresh grilled seafood from the local areas. The 6-star cuisine, you notice that 6-star, you know, give it another 10 years and there's going to be people that have 8-star and 9-star and 10-star and we'll say, where do these numbers come from? Indoor, you know I'm speaking the truth. Al fresco, the 24-hour pantry. Anybody know what the 24-hour pantry is?
Cookies.
Yes! It's like having your little own mini kitchen on board. Our river ships have this as well. I'm a person who gets up about 1:30 in the morning and eats. It's like sleepwalking. It's terrible. Well, you could sleepwalk 24/7 and go down to the pantry. Or you can call your butler, because we have butlers on this. Remember, it's an all-inclusive. So if you're looking for something which is the biggest bang for the buck, you don't want to have to worry about what you're going to spend at the back end of your trip, the yacht and the river is a completely comprehensive package. Everything from soup to nuts, as I say. The Sunset Grill, which I've mentioned. The yacht, we've got 2 rooms that are 223 square feet. You got your king-size beds and everything jumps to 280 square feet. If you've been on other brands out there that do a yachting experience, you can attest that these are very large staterooms for this type of design. We have 1 room that is 515 square feet, which is the owner's suite. But you're going to have the double vanity sinks. You see that picture in the very bottom? We have a TV screen that actually comes through the mirrors for you in the bathroom because you just can't be away from the TV that long. You have your separate sitting area in the owner's suite and a separate bedroom. And then, of course, you have your marina platform. So you're going to have water skis where we're able to operate our jet skis, I should say. Snorkeling, kayaking, paddle boards that are going to be available. You got the sub. I mentioned all-inclusive, completely included. The sub is one of those things that's not included. There's a little additional fee for that. Full disclosure, guys, I don't want you beating the team up in the back when they say, well, she said. So the sub does have an additional fee, but we did just get our permits for 4 of the 5 islands that we'll be doing in the West Indies because you got to get permitting to do that. So we do have the permit to use the sub in the West Indies this season. The other thing that would have an additional feature to it is if you want that shot of Louis XIII or you just have this craving for that $600 bottle of your favorite champagne, that across all of our experiences is an additional add-on. But what I will say is when we do our excursions, especially on the river, because we have so many choices that we can offer you, it is not giving you a museum ticket, sticking you on a 50-passenger bus, dropping you in the middle of town and saying, we'll pick you up in 3 hours. These are high-end shore excursions. Now, we always have certain excursions that may only be limited to 10 or 12 people that we can take. Or we have Michelin restaurant offers that we have when we're doing the rivers. That if you're in a penthouse, you get 1 complimentary. If you're not in a penthouse and just want to try that Michelin restaurant that you've heard about your whole life, you can add on to that. So we'll talk a little bit about what is not included because I am a person who believes completely in full disclosure so you guys can make an educated decision on what kind of vacation that you want to take. So I mentioned the West Indies. This will be our itinerary that we will be doing in the West Indies. The St. Bart's one is still kind of bouncing back and forth for our November dates, but St. Bart's definitely looks like it's going to be back up and running for what we and where we come into the harbor and the marina to use. And then for the Med, because again, we've had sold out season. It's just been an insane season for us. In 2018, we'll be offering from Venice to Dubrovnik 7 days, Dubrovnik to Venice for 7 days, or you can loop them together as a 2-week back-to-back, pretty much freestanding itineraries and do round trip from Venice or round trip from Dubrovnik. And if you guys have ever done the Adriatic, if you've done Dubrovnik, but maybe haven't been able to hit some of those other places, You can't, because the ships are too big. They can't get into the marinas, or if the mid-sized ships go in, they park way out here, and then you have to be bussed into where everything is in the small towns. In 2019, I even got some of those up there. We'll actually be doing a variety of itineraries, but we'll be adding some of our Greece itineraries back in. In 2016, we had a mixed match of the Dubrovnik to Venice, Venice to Dubrovnik, Greece. We had Athens from Dubrovnik and back. So we'll be combining that into 2019. Crystal Mozart. I mentioned I didn't want to leave her. I said, please let me work on her. I will chop onions. I don't know. Just don't make me leave. And then happily we were able to introduce the Bach and the Mahler this summer. Now the Mozart was a ship that was in existence. She held over 200 people originally. We took her down to the steel, rebuilt her from the ground up, kind of seeing a theme here with a couple of the items. And she holds 154 passengers. So here's the key. There's a lot of river companies out there, and we're all going to say we're the best, and we're all going to say this, and we've got the best food, and we've got the softest bedding, and we have the prettiest carpets. We do have pretty carpets on her. But what it comes down to is it does come down to the service. How many passengers are on board, how big the staterooms are, the quality of food and the choices that you have when you're traveling, and again, the value. And sometimes you hear people say, oh, well, luxury, you shouldn't talk value. Everybody wants value. Just because you're willing to pay for luxury doesn't mean that you don't want value for what you're spending, right? You work hard for it, you want to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck as well. So with the Bach and the Mahler, they came out. We'll have the Debussy and the Ravel coming out in spring of next year. So we'll have 5 ships on the river. We are on the Danube, the Rhine, the Main, and we dip gently into the Moselle. Anything from 7 to 16-day itineraries. That's that golden brochure that you have. We have made some changes to some itineraries. So, and we do some charters too. So if we have a change, I encourage you, talk to the girls with Wallace Pearson, go to our website to see the itineraries themselves. That will have the most updated itineraries. The ladies will know what the itineraries are. The website is going to have the most up-to-date itinerary, so that you don't get set on one itinerary and then find out that it has been, pulled or removed or changed. So I'm going to show you a video on the Mozart, because I'm going to show you some stuff on the new Rhine. Gives you the design and the look of the Mozart, because then the new sister ships are going to be identical, because they are truly identical sisters. No stepchildren involved in that one. So what makes Crystal different? We talk about high staff to guest ratio. That is a part of service. And it's not that, when you have 180 passengers on a river ship and you have 35 crew member, it's not that they don't want to give you good service. It's kind of hard to do that with that many people and that few staff. So with us, We have dedicated our guests, or I should say, our staff that work the spas. They are dedicated to that spa area. So when you're getting your hot stone massage done on Tuesday afternoon, she's not serving you tea the next morning in the dining room on Wednesday. The Mozart has 154 guests. She has almost 90 crew member. The yacht, 62 passengers. She's got 90 crew member on the yacht. Again, I know, that is insane. That is the level of service delivered in that regard. The Rhine class, 106 passengers. Pause for a moment. 106 passengers, and these are on the European rivers. We're just about half the size of a lot of the other brands out there. And we have 69, or are we up to 70 staff on those Rhine class. All right? European butler service for every stateroom. And it's something you've heard me mention, I love food. Service, I like great service, but I don't find that to be my make or break. Until you realize, oh, I didn't even know I wanted that, you know? So when I was on the Mozart, I'll tell a real quick story. We were on the Mozart and we had a room with other people from our company. And we barely got to use Nicola. He was a lovely young man, but we were on board working. So the last day we're packing up all of our clothes and my colleague says, I really like that beer. And I said, what beer? So there's beer in the fridge. She's like, no, it's not that beer. So I said, call Nicola. Guy doesn't think we like him. We haven't talked to him for 4 days. We didn't need anything. We were always working. So she calls him and she says, I don't remember the name of the beer. You got to know my colleague. Love her to death. So he says, wait a minute. He hangs up. About 45 seconds later, he calls. He's up at that roof deck bar that came out of the floor that you saw. And he reads every beer on tap. And she's like, wait a minute, that's the one, that's the one. He's like, okay, I'll be down in a moment. So a little while goes by, and the doorbell rings, because we got doorbells. And he comes in with 2 beers, and he's got nuts and I go, oh no, we just wanted the beers. He goes, the nuts will make the beer taste better. So meanwhile, I didn't even want the beer to start with. None of us wanted the, and I'm like, man, he was so right. This is wonderful. It does make the beer taste better. You know that saying, you don't know what you don't know? You don't know until you actually go and see what it means when we say it's 6-star service or it's Michelin-inspired food. When you experience it, then the light bulb goes on and you go, aha, that's what it means. It is worth that because there is that intangible. I could stand up here for hours. Don't worry, I won't. I could stand up here for hours and do line item by line item on how you save when you buy up front something that has a lot of inclusions to it. But regardless of how you slice and dice that, once you get off, there is that intangible that is personal to you, whether it's that spectacular service or the gentleman in the dining room knowing exactly how you wanted your cappuccino made, or the fact that they just made the most wonderful panna cotta in the world. It's those things that add to that intangible luxury experience that you're going to have on Crystal. Flexible open dining. When we came out with these multiple dining rooms and they're like, oh, that's crazy, dining options, oh, that's crazy on a river. There's other companies out there that's what they're planning on doing now. Open dining, you don't have to go to one restaurant. You get your extensive menu in the main restaurant, but then you can go to the bistro and get your tapas menu at night. On the Mozart, we have Blue, which is burgers and pastries and wraps and pastas and salads. Great Bavarian pretzels with mustard. Your exclusive excursions, because again, it's all inclusive, and your land experiences are going to be included. We, as I mentioned, have 7 to 16-day itineraries. And that is the entire time on the ship. You can add additional pre's and additional posts, but when we say 7 to 16 days, it is completely on the ship because how better to spend that? It is a 6-star hotel at that point. Gourmet dining, those darn food slides. Michelin inspired, you get regional specialties as well as Michelin inspired food. And to me, growing up doing this, something that got lost in translation, I want to say over the last 5 or 6 years on River, is River boomed. Years ago when people did River, you had a couple river cruise companies. They were nothing spectacular. People went because they wanted to go to these little tiny cities and towns along the river. They wanted to immerse themselves in the experience, the culture, the food, but they didn't want to get on a motor coach and do that, right? Over time, it boomed so fast that something got lost in that, and you started to hear, oh, we went and we were, going through Austria and Germany. We couldn't get Wiener Schnitzel. We had no apple strudel. We definitely incorporate everything that we do into the regions that we're traveling, let alone farm-to-table cuisine. We fly in lobsters. When you go on our ships, you're getting fresh lobster. Imagine that. You're on the Danube. They ain't got no lobsters local. We bring it on in for you. 24-hour room service, gosh darn it, that 24-hour pantry to go get snacks. All the accommodations, all suites, all king beds can be converted into twins unless otherwise noted on the brochure and the deck plan. We are the largest suites in the river. Mozart has one room that's 203 square feet. Then she goes to 219. Her suite goes up to over 700 square feet. And on the Rhine class, we've got 16 suites that are 188 square feet. They're called petites. The rest of the ship is 253 square feet. And they're all verandas. On the Rhine class, they're all verandas above the water line. So you have a window veranda combination. I'm going to show you what that means. Mozart has one deck of water views, full-size windows at water level. And if you still aren't convinced that you should be sailing Crystal, we have some really great values on those window rooms on the Mozart. And again, she's the award-winning ship so far in that fleet. Luxury accommodations and espresso coffee machines, the iPad devices, the mood lighting. You say, what do you need mood lighting for? We flipped to the red, to the purple, to the blue. I looked across the room and I said to my colleague, Paul, I said, dang, you look good in pink. You never know what it could do for you if you're traveling with your significant other. It could just reignite things with the different mood lighting that we've got available. Now, if you're going on the Mozart, we've thrown a couple of extra things for you. We have Toto toilets. Anybody know what a Toto toilet is?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We got Toto toilets on the Mozart. We don't have them on the Rhine class. Because one had heated toilet seats, which was nice. Toilet lids go up for you, they go down for you. They swirl this way, they swirl that way. You are on the toilet a lot, and you keep walking by your bathroom door and the lid goes up. It's like that subliminal messaging. You're like, maybe I do, maybe I don't. So, we're not doing Toto toilets on the new ships, but the Mozart does have that if you want to experience one of those. Heated towel racks still, and again, all the other typical things that you're going to find on the suites. Remember the mood lighting, guys. I'm telling you, go as a couple, you're going to like the mood lighting. Vintage room. This is our wine and food pairing room. We do have this on the ocean ships and we have it on the river ships. We do not have it on the yacht. This would be an additional item that would have the additional fee to it. We offer 4-course wine and food lunches, wine and food dinners, and we will also do dinners of 8 courses. Now, I don't know about you, but 8 glasses of wine and 8 courses. I want to sit out. I don't even need to do it. I just want to sit outside the room and watch the people do it. Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
I haven't done it. Yeah, you wouldn't remember after like
Everything was
course
great.
4 or 5. You wouldn't remember anyways. But we do have that, and it can hold on the Symphony, it's 12 passenger people. On the Serenity, it's 14. You can rent the whole room out, get a little bit of a discount on that. And then on the river ships, it's 12 people, you know, on each. And I love the lunch one because if you've already been to a particular city, and we do quite a few overnights, you may already did something that one day and you just want to stay on board and relax. It's a really nice way to take in lunch with the beautiful, you know, banks that going by. We have spas on board. I mentioned that dedicated spa staff, and they have the indoor swimming pools. This is the typical room on the Rhine class. The beds are going to face out toward the window veranda. 253 square feet. You have your walk-in closets that I mentioned, those double vanities. This is the depth of the room, and you see in the corner, I'm going to show you another picture, it's going to be better, but that is what a window veranda means. And it's a completely unobstructed pane of glass, a wall of glass. You push a button, the glass slides down as much or as little as you want. You can create a full balcony there, or you can just crack it. It has a screen that if you like to sleep with your window open at night, so to speak, and get fresh air, which, trust me, I wish I could have done that the first night I got into Jacksonville. I wouldn't have all this congestion going on. Where's those gosh darn verandas when you need one? All of our staterooms, all of the suites on the Rhine class have this. Then you have your Crystal's penthouse suite, which is the 506 square feet. So you'd have that standard room that you just saw, plus the additional sitting area, the additional dining area. You can actually add an additional bedroom to that, so it's a pull-through. And this is the petite. I like this because of the photo. It shows you the width of the glass, the wall, and then you do have the perpendicular beds in this, but it will show you the dimensions. You still have plenty of room. And keep in mind, guys, this is a river ship. If you've done other river cruise companies, you know the size of a lot of their staterooms, right? Bathroom. That's not an ocean ship bathroom. That's a river ship bathroom. Okay, see, it wasn't too painful, right? And I'll take questions in a moment, but let's talk about some specials, offers, and promotions, right? Crystal savings with Wallace Pearson Travel. I got on my soapbox earlier, right, about why you should use Wallace Pearson Travel. Couple of things. For the month of October, we have cruise event discounts that range from $200 per person to $500 per person on river, yacht, and ocean. It's not going to be available on every sailing. But I did send this over to the office, and I can tell you it's 15 pages of different voyages that you have to choose from. All right? You have until the end of the month to do this. Now, this is going to be combinable with these other offers. So again, what I talk about, combinability, stacking those discounts, helping you get on board and get that value. CLIA, it's just an industry association, but they're running a special with us as well, and there's some sheets up there for this. Select voyages, more closer in voyages, I think that some will go into maybe spring of next year. They're adding an additional $100 per person shipboard credit. And then on top of that, just because I like these people up here, you know, you don't like all of your accounts. Anybody who's been in business, you know that you like some more than others. We're going to throw in an additional $100 per person shipboard credit on my end for any bookings that are made in October. So you got these right here in front of you. This does not even count if you pick a voyage that Virtuoso has a special with Wallace Pearson. If you do Virtuoso and they have a special, doesn't include what that is adding. Those are going to be combinable and stackable. In addition, Crystal Clear Choice is also a flyer up there. It's your choice. Remember we talked about the pillars and choice is one of them. If your voyage is on here and we have ocean and river right now on this current version, you could save up to $400 per person, straight off the dollar amount. And yes, it is combinable with the discount special that I just mentioned, and it's combinable with those shipboard credits that I just mentioned. Or you can take an air credit of $500 or $9.99 business class air on select voyages. And again, the ladies back there can make sure that that's not going to be the better deal for you or what's going to be the better offer. Or you can take shipboard credits of $600 per person. All combinable. So it's up to you if you just want the straight off dollar amounts or if you want the shipboard credits. You may find that with the river, I don't need that many shipboard credits, so I'll take the $400 off. I'm going to save another $400 maybe on the discount certificate that Wallace Pearson has. Virtuoso may be offering some additional shipboards plus the other $200 that I just showed you. That's a lot of savings on board. So a lot of times when you hear the word luxury, and I don't know what your backgrounds are, I don't really care because it's personal. But don't look at the price point in brochures. We don't put prices in our brochures because they absolutely mean nothing. You go to the website and you see that big price flash at you. Don't worry about that price until you actually have your advisor look to see what you qualify for. All of these specials, if you've been on Crystal before, you get an additional Crystal Society discount. That's completely separate. Do a back-to-back booking, additional discount. That's completely separate. It's all combinable. All right? Now, whoops, let me ask you this. Any questions? No one dozed off on me yet, so. I do talk fast. Anything? Yes.
Singles rates.
Very, very good questions, because I did mention the ladies that do travel single. We start, I mean, I've seen some of our voyages go for 110%, okay, in ocean views. I will say that in general, ocean views will be 130 to 150%. Verandas will be anywhere from 150 to 170%. Suites, they're usually double. They're going to be 200, and that's partially because of supply and demand. And what I will also say here, and I very rarely say to a consumer event, meaning you guys, my guests, I usually talk to my agents all the time. If you are looking to go as a single, or you have like a group, you know, there's like a few couples and you got a single lady and a single, and they want to travel and they're like, oh, I want to go, but I don't want to pay, da da da. I always encourage my partners to give me a jingle. I have no problem when I look at the voyage and I say, okay, well, what category are they looking for? And they're looking for an A1 veranda, and I've got tons on that. I don't know why, but the A1s haven't sold on this voyage. I have no problem going back to my powers that be and say, okay, right now that's pricing at 160%. Can we work on the single supplement? Sometimes I get what I want. Other times they tell me that I should not be drinking on the job, and they tell me no. But you know what? What's that saying? If you don't ask, you got it just right. If I come back and say I can't do anything for you, I mean that I can't do anything for you. I want every piece of business that I can bring in for my partners at Wallace Pearson, but I also want you guys to have the best experience possible as well. So our single supplement, that's kind of what the ballpark is. On the river, it tends to be at least 150%. Same with the yacht, just because we don't have as much space. to work with, so to speak. Other questions?
Ocean cruises, shore excursions are addition to the price.
Correct. Oh, you were listening.
Big bucks in the long run.
It can, but what we have found is, and I don't know if it's something that will change, because as we launched our new experiences, it was completely inclusive, but that was more typical of those particular markets. But when you compare, it may not break down to be that much of a difference, but you can also get some better deals. You'll find that sometimes we'll have better discounts on some of our ocean, or we throw in more shipboards. This may be, if you're doing an ocean cruise with us, that may be the time that you want to do the shipboards and stack the shipboards so that you can utilize those. We do have a full service casino on board for the gamblers out there, means baccarat, roulette. We have a high rollers room. We have a movie theater on board. And again, of course your shopping is not included, your spa is not included, your casino is not included. Sorry guys, we can't fund your gambling habit. Yes, on the ocean, excursions are additional. On the other brand experiences, it's included unless you do something that's completely, special, that we've thrown in or done something special. Absolutely.
I have a question about what he just said.
Yes.
With the shore excursions on the ocean and the shipboards, if you book the shore excursions in advance,
You do book the shore excursions in advance. We encourage it.
right? Do you pay for them in advance?
You do not. It goes onto your shipboard credit. Okay. It's huge. It is because then you know what happens. Something happens. You get on board and you change your mind, and then it takes forever for you to get your money back. You can be on your next cruise before you see that money come back, right? Once you pay with us and you deposit, once you deposit, you can start booking your shore excursions through your online management system, and the ladies can help you. You can do it yourself, however you prefer. You can book your shore excursions. I highly encourage you to do that, because again, you're not out of money pocket early. That does not charge to get on board. If you wait, you will be disappointed. It happens every time on different sailings. That one excursion is the most popular, and then you wait to do it and you can't get on. You have to have full payment in, though, in order to make your dining reservations for the specialty restaurants, to get in at a certain time, and also for your spa appointments. We mentioned the early booking discount. If you pay outside of 180 days, you get a 2.5% discount off of your trip. Paid in full. Paid in full. Early booking discount, paid in full. Outside of 180 days. But once you're paid in full, now you have access to make those additional reservations. So let's take it one step crazier for a luxury company. We don't charge you penalty up until 91 days before departure. So even if you pay in full outside of 180 days, you want to make sure you get on the ship that you want, the itinerary that you want, in the cabin that you want, in the suite that you want. You're paid in full, you got everything lined up for your trip. If something happens and you have to cancel, you're able to cancel up to 91 days before your departure and get a full refund. All right? The only time that policy deviates is on world cruises or world cruise segments that are going to total more than 51 days. Then your penalties start at 180. And that's just because the world cruises do tend to sell very, very strong. And our guests are booking 2-3 years out. All right? Don't let that scare you. We have plenty of cruises we can sell you just right now. Yes.
It's just amazing.
It's crazy.
You have specialty restaurants. Are they unlimited, or you get?
You got such good questions. I like this. Oh, put me through my paces. Okay. The restaurants on board are included. The restaurant Umi Uma, formerly Silk Road, for those of you that know the brand, and Prego. Think Umi Uma and Prego, the Nobu concept and the Italian. If it's under 14 days, you get 1 complimentary in each restaurant. If the voyage is over 14 days, you get 2 complimentary in each restaurant. Anything above and beyond that is $30. All right? Now, I've been on other brands out there that charge $45, and these are mainstream. $30 is a steal of the deal when you consider if you eat at a Nobu concept, whether it's in Los Angeles, it's in New York, you're paying $300 a head without even any cocktails beforehand. So it really is a great deal. But a very, very good question. Anything else you want to drill me on?
I'm thinking.
Are you sure?
I'm thinking.
Come on, hit it up, hit it up. Yes.
Does that depend on the type of stateroom that you have?
No,
Also?
it does
No.
not. If you're in a Crystal Penthouse, you get full reign of the ship. You get to wear the captain's hat, and you do get unlimited dining.
Oh, you do?
Yes. If you're in the Crystal Penthouse, you get unlimited dining choices.
How
and-
about a little below?
No, you get the butler. He can run up and grab you something.
What happens if you're on board and the same day they don't have it filled up? It's still $30 if you want.
Yes, and that, yeah, absolutely. Oh, you're
Yeah.
working. I will say this, the policy is yes, you will be charged 30. Depends on how personable you are, I guess. You know when you get on board, you know when you call cruise lines, right? And they say, I'm sorry, this dining is filled, or no, I can't get you this reservation. It's amazing what the staff on board can do. I'm not telling you to go on board and say, this lady told me you would waive this if I was a nice person. Don't do that. But you never know. You never know. But it would be at their discretion, and it is their policy that we're supposed to charge the 30. All right? Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Seriously, guys, thank you very much for coming out this evening, learning a little bit about Crystal, whether you're new to the experiences or you have cruised us before. We're really excited where we're going. We're even more excited that as we've expanded and grown, that the new experiences that we have are still winning awards as well. So it's a good translation. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique.